Hey Writing in School gang. As writers, blockages we deal with are not usually of the physical nature. Don't you wish they were though, so you could just take a hammer to it and get it over with? Well, that's what I'm here to do for you today, is equip you with that metaphorical hammer so you can smash your writer's block and get back to your story. Everyone's seen that Hollywood rendition of when a writer gets blocked. You sit there with your fingers hovering over the keys, stare at the screen, maybe type a couple things, then backspace everything you write until eventually you give up and you go do something else. In reality, getting blocked for a writer is not usually so dramatic, but it can be really frustrating. Something I've heard from so many writers during this trying and unique time, honestly, in modern history, is that writing flow is completely stopped up because of the massive disruption to their routine. I've come up with a couple tricks on how to unblock yourself, so to speak. So get ready. Here comes 4 tips to beat your writer's block. Tip 1, skip ahead. Here you are, you're writing up a storm. Everything is just jumping from the tips of your fingers. The plot, the setting, the characters, action, and romance. You're coming up on a stealthy kind of scene where your protagonist is sneaking in somewhere to recover lost archive. Suddenly, you can't picture what kind of jacket he's wearing. That's it, story's over. Fictional flow is broken. You keep trying to move forward with the scene, but all you can think of is, what kind of jacket should he be wearing? Your ideas pile upon each other, one after the other, and tangle in a big knot until your fictional world comes pulling apart at the seams. Because the glue that was holding it together, little did you know, was that jacket. Psych. This is an overblown example, but it is kind of a version of what really happens when you get blocked like this. When it comes down to word choice, not so much the story, or a minor detail. You just keep trying to figure it out, and you don't allow yourself to move forward until this first thing is figured out. It's like a step-by-step linear process, and if you can't get this step, you can't possibly keep going. But anyone who's been writing for a long time knows that it's not that linear of a process. Does all the planning and concept work you've done disappear just because one detail is unclear? No. If you take a step back from the problem, which is not to be underestimated, that's very hard to do, but you have to. Take a deep breath, step back from the situation and say, okay, I have a piece missing right here, but a little bit ahead in the story, I know what pieces are there. I know what happens later. So what do? You skip ahead. Now, chances are this missing detail is going to be something a little more important than your main character's jacket. Whatever the detail is that's stopping you up, just skip over it for now. Move ahead to a scene you know more confidently, one that's more concrete in your mind, and write that one. While you're doing so, chances are that missing piece from earlier is going to become a lot more apparent, what actually needs to be added in. And if not, keep writing, keep moving forward, and the more of your story you assemble, the more complete of a picture you have. I've used this analogy before, but it's like when you're looking for one particular piece of a jigsaw puzzle, and it's so hard to find, but if you just abandon looking for that piece for a little bit, and you work on the rest of the puzzle, the actual piece that you're missing will become much clearer. Tip number 2, just steal ideas from your favorite authors. Just kidding, please don't do that. But you should absolutely use other authors in your genre as inspiration and education. If you're stuck, put down your own project and pick up someone else's. Read a book that's in a genre similar to yours. After a while, your mind will inevitably start twisting up details and minor tweaks to the story. You'll start imagining alternate versions of what you're reading, like, oh man, that fight scene was really cool, but I wonder what it would be like if this book took place in an underwater city. Each one of these specific details from different books you read acts as a building block. It sounds like stealing at first, but once you've collected enough pieces from different stories, you can twist them all together into something completely unique that doesn't resemble any of the stories you took it from. Does it take time to gather that many building blocks where you can do that? Yeah, but if you're just sitting there with your fingers hovering over the keys anyway, why not spend that time building a database of useful knowledge in your genre? Tip 3, roleplay. It needs a password. We made it this far, but the place is gonna blow. There's nothing we can do about it.
Dude, why didn't you just ask me what the password was?
Oh yeah, you seem like the most trustworthy guy in the world.
Would an untrustworthy bloke give you free food? Catch.
Guess not.
Exactly. Password is, you're poisoned. Why? Subvert expectations, my guy. What, have you never read a book before?
No, not like that. So you're blocked. You're sitting around trying to think, how would your characters react in this situation? What's an appropriate way for them to behave given what's happening in your plot? It's hard to make decisions for people who are in situations you've never been in. So put yourself into those situations. When you think about it, it's the silliest sounding thing that also makes an insane amount of sense. Again, do I mean dress up, go outside, and stage a sword fight with yourself? No. Although I would suspect that would get plenty of creative juices flowing. Oh, you do you. I mean, get into character. There's a couple of great ways to do this. Break out the old pen and paper and write a letter from one character to another. Write it in the first person, regardless of the perspective of your book. Really get into the driver's seat of your main character or the character in question who you just can't seem to figure out. Write a letter to their mom, dad, favorite teacher, their adversary. You'll be really getting inside that character's head. Struggling with dialogue? Test out the lines in front of a mirror. Really let yourself feel the emotion. You don't have to be a theater major to recite a line with some feeling in your face. And seeing a human face say the line you're wondering about will make everything crystal clear. If it's awkward, it's gonna look awkward in the mirror. Will it be weird? Yeah. Will it unstuck you? Believe it or not, most likely yes. Even if all it does is make you feel really weird, it's going to release that vice grip that your brain has around the problem, which actually lets you think of solutions more clearly. It's just a great exercise to kind of break that tunnel vision that your brain has when you're really stuck with writer's block. Tip number 4. Take a break to do something you love. This quarantine has been a sort of self-care revelation for a lot of people. People are starting to realize that they need to actually do things for them. This even goes for writers. We may be an odd subspecies of human, but we do still fit under that broad umbrella. Barely. So, as hard as it is, when writer's block comes along and stops up your flow, the best thing to do might be just to put your project down for a little bit and do something else that you find entertaining or relaxing. Trust me, I know it's hard. I am one of the biggest offenders of not doing things for myself. I get so fixated on my goals, whether it's writing or videos or whatever it is, anything that goes towards my creative career, I get so obsessive. And if I can't hit that goal, I just let it consume me sometimes. And all I do is brainstorm solutions to try and get around the problem. But sometimes the only way you're going to get around the problem is to just leave it alone for a little bit. You're not doing your best work when you're so frustrated. With the help of counseling, even I'm getting a little bit better at this. So if you're stuck, just stop for a second and do something you love. I know, writing is something you love. Yes, we all get it. We're all dedicated to our craft. I mean something else, smart guy. Read a book if you find that relaxing or stimulating. Play video games. Do a quick workout. Have a one-man dance party. Drink, but not too much if you want to get work done at some point. Whatever sends you into that fleeting, wakeful zen, go do it. Treat yourself for a change. Because, believe it or not, you deserve it. You deserve every ounce of kindness and tolerance that you give to other people. And if you have none of that for anyone else, you may need a different video to help you. Alright, everyone ready? Have your symbolic hammer, because it's time to break that writer's block. You've got no excuse to cower in the face of that stupid block. Crush it, and let's keep moving forward together. I genuinely hope these strategies give you everything you need to keep moving forward with your writing and create an incredible story. The world becomes a little bit richer every time someone finishes a book. Never forget that. But if none of these strategies work for you, consider subscribing to my blog. I do a lot of written writing tips there, and I'll be putting out a post with a couple extra tips that didn't make it into the video. Link for that's in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Can't tell you how much it means to me to have all of your support. Last week when I was having trouble with my videos and people reached out to me and said, you know, hey, we're really sorry to hear your videos are great. But thank you. Thank you for all your support. If you'd like to start supporting the Roadside Writer, it's as easy as a few clicks. Like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, click the bell icon under the video so that you don't miss notifications about the next one. You can also subscribe to my website, like I mentioned earlier, or become a patron. And the links for all of those things will be in the description of this video. These free writing help videos are the best way I know how to make sure everyone has really super accessible writing help. But if you need more intensive guidance on how to start your novel, consider purchasing my course. The price is down to only $20 from $75. Now it only costs $20 for a comprehensive 5-module course on the basics of plotting a novel. It comes with transcripts and worksheets. It's an incredible resource, so I'll leave the link for that in the description as well. Be safe, everyone. And if you've got a different strategy that I didn't mention on how to break that writer's block, please leave a comment below. Let me know. Let everyone else who sees this video know. The more strategies we accumulate as a group, the more people break through, the more stories get out, the better. Roadside Writer, out.